Today, the Endure All Things podcast presents to you a very special guest, one that boasts a variety of accomplishments. To list a few, the North Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year in 2017, averaging 37.4 points a game, named an All-American in high school OT, Female Player of the Year, an ACC Newcomer Watch List, Duke University graduate, recording artist, and national motivational speaker. This is Mikayla Boykin.
What's good? The Mikayla Boykin.
Yeah.
Happy to be here too, man.
The Mikayla Boykin. You know, it's blessed to have you on. I appreciate you for coming on,
Absolutely.
blessing us with your presence, you know, and wisdom that you have.
Really happy to be here.
Yeah. Let me give you a handshake.
Love, bro.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. So, this podcast is pretty much an intel of, you know, mental health. You know, we talk all things mental health, all things enduring your journey, you know, your story, your life. And you are a person that had to go through things that you had to endure to get you to where you are now. And that's what we're going to cover. You know, that's what we're going to talk about. That's what the people want to know. That's what the people want to hear.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to the process and progress of me being where I am today. So, you know, I'm blessed to be able to go through what I went through and blessed to be able to be here and share my story.
For sure. How you doing? Let me ask you this. How are you today?
I'm
How
good. I'm actually in a place now where I've never been like more happy. Like I finally found peace within myself, peace within the things that I'm doing. So, you know, I'm just happy to be in the position I am today.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And we're going to get into some of those things as to how did you get to a point of finding that peace, you know? But before we get there, you have so many accolades. You have so many accolades that, you know, you're in the record books. You're in the record books for a lot of things. So how did you know, where did it begin for you?
It began at 808 Barter Street. That's where it began. Being one of the only girls to be at the block. And you know all about the block. You've been there too. But my pops being able to put us in a position to where he accepted a job to where we can go to the gym 24/7. Like, get off the bus there, wake up, he go to work, we're there. Leave work, we're still there when he leave. Like, he blessed us to be in that position. So it started there and, you know, kind of just blossomed to my brothers. They were there with me. So it was just like honestly, it's like, I always use that Kendrick saying, it's in that song, how it go, have you ever seen a flower bloom in a dark room? That saying right there. And it's like, the block was that dark room for us. And we all just blossomed, not just me. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for my pops, my brothers, my mom.
Yeah. So let me get some backstory, some intel on this in regards to the block. All right, so the block, you from New York, right? When you think of the block,
baby.
Yeah, you from the Bronx.
You know what I mean?
When somebody say the block, what you think?
Outside.
We outside. That's literally what the block is.
We outside.
Right? We outside. So it's a town called Clinton, North Carolina. That's where you from.
Mm-hmm.
It's a place called the block.
That's literally what it's called?
That's what
It's called the block.
That's what it's called. That's where you see everything. That's where legends are made. You know, it's a lot of mythical legends in Clinton that come from the block. You know, when you think of the Willie Parkers, when you think of anybody, Mikayla Boykin, you know, anybody, they come out of the block. So it's a gym. It's like a gym, and it's right in the middle of the hood. You know, there's some projects around it, Notorious, Dogwood Circle, Sampson Homes. Then the rest of that area is just a black area. And that's where everything go down. That's where you learn everything.
Like, literally everything.
Nice.
Life lessons.
We was, when we worked out, when I came to Clinton,
Yeah.
we was with Willie Parker
Yeah.
at that high school. I don't remember the name of the high school.
Clinton High School.
Clinton High School.
Mm-hmm.
Is the block around that?
Nah, it's
they
not
don't.
around there.
Nah, that's the good parts over there.
Okay.
Yeah, so being that you brought that up, we ran the stadiums. That's something that you used to do, right?
Yeah, I got that from you, honestly.
Okay. I wanted to
got
see.
that
I wanted to
from
see if she was
you.
gonna
I got
tell
that
the
from
truth.
you.
Okay, I wanted to see
Got
if
that
she was
from
gonna tell
you,
the
man.
truth. Yeah. Okay, so you started working out. You started developing your game. Like, what inspired you to, you know, even like the game of basketball? Who was your first few inspirations? Like, who did you see? Say, okay, I want to model my game after this person at a young age now.
Yeah.
Like, this is before the accolades, before, you know, the coaches are following you, things of that nature.
To be honest with you, I ain't have nobody who I specific, like, not no like celebrity or anybody that I like model my game after. I think it all came down to Mike, my big brother, Michael. Like, He
Shout out
picked
to
up
Mike.
the ball. Yeah, shout out to Mike. He picked up a ball, and once he picked it up, I wanted to do everything that he did. So like, he could jump off a roof. I'm right behind him, jumping off a roof behind him. Like, he was just somebody that I looked up to. So when he picked up the ball, I picked it up, and from there it was just like I want to be like Mike. Like, it's very cliche to say that, but like not Michael Jordan, but the version of my Mike was my big brother. So everything he did, I wanted to be exactly like him, and it helped me.
Yeah.
Because look what he did. He did a lot of great things, and then I followed in his footsteps. So that was who I modeled my game after. For real.
That's tough.
Were you
That's-
the only girl? Were you the only girl?
Yeah, well, I have a adopted sister too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was you, older brother Mike, and
So you
She
got
ain't
another
play
little
sports.
brother too, though.
Yeah, I got another little brother.
Marcus.
He
He
plays
hooping.
at Sam Houston State right now. University down in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
yeah, them girls that grow up under they brothers,
be tough.
Yeah, they usually.
Right. Yeah. And she was that one. And like I said, she from the block. And you used to play with all boys, right?
Yeah, like
Tell me about that.
it was literally you got 50 guys in the gym, and you would look down the court and you only see one girl, and I'm the only girl in the gym. And I feel like we ain't really like tell them about what the block really is and like what it meant to us growing up. Like that was like our sanctuary. Like you walk outside the block doors, like the steps of the block, and you just look out there and you see so much going on. Like you see drug deals going on. I remember it was a time when we were out there at the block. I was in the gym. My brothers were outside. Somebody drove by, gun outside the window. Do 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 do. Everybody just flying in the gym, back into our sanctuary. Like that's how bad the block is for real. Like, so whenever I really say that's our peace, like that's the only thing that kept most of us out of the streets was being able to come to the block. So whenever I went in there, all those guys that's in there, they're like my brothers. Like to this day, like if I see them, like we got handshakes that we had since we was a kid that we still do. Like we still talk like we done seen each other every single day of the year. We ain't seen each other in months. Like those are like really, really like my brothers, and like they've helped me grow. I've helped them grow. Like we have hard conversations. Like we can talk to each other and tell each other what it is. And I feel like that really just kind of tells you about like the block and like who we are as people.
Yeah. I'm having a little bit of nostalgia right now due to the fact of when you say things such as the block being a sanctuary, right? Oftentimes when people say the word sanctuary, they think of a church. They think of a safe haven, things of that nature. For me, that's literally what the block was. And just like many kids that grow up in the inner city, there's a particular place where they go that they feel most safe. I remember Derrick Rose saying something of the effect that when he was on the basketball court, that's where he felt the most safe. Mm-hmm. There's another guy by the name of Akil Carr out of Baltimore. They called him the Crime Stopper. Yeah. Every time he used to hoop, they said the crime in the city would stop. So places like the block is beneficial. It's a necessity, you know? And so let me ask you this. Being that the block was one of those safe havens for you, oftentimes they say it takes a community to develop a child. Who were those individuals in your circle or in your community that inspired you to stay on the right path, you know, to not get indulged into anything that our people are easily indulged into? Yeah. Who were those people?
My pops. Like you know this too. Like my pops, he was like the mentor for everybody on the block. Like he was like the father figure for everybody. So whenever I say that they were my brothers, they real life my brothers. They real life the people that I grew up with. And I think the moment that kind of changed my life was when my pops took me to the track. And, you know, they had just built that track around the baseball field at the block. It was a little upgrade for the hood. And I seen a couple of my friends dealing drugs. And I was standing on the track with him. And he just stopped me. He was like, yo, let me ask you a question. I need you to make a decision right now. I was like, yo, what's up? He was like, either you choose to run these 2 miles right now or you go be out there with them. And in that moment, I had to make the decision for myself that I did not want to go out there and be where my friends was. And I separate myself by running those 2 miles at the block. And from there, my dad helped develop me and mold me to the person I am, because he really pushed me to not make a decision, you know, to be, you know, someone who just falls into like the stereotypical, you know, hoodlum. Yeah. You know, what the people in the hood want to do. And I think that right there really put things into perspective for me. Like he really, really changed my focus, my point of view. And at the time, I'm being recruited by everybody.
Yeah.
So for him to be able to just look at me and like, and you know when my dad look at you, like he give you that look like, yo, like I'm for real, like I'm dead serious right now. And it's like a scary look because I've never seen somebody look so serious in their life. And when he told me that, and I looked out there, I was like, yo, I can't be that type of person. Like I want to be something bigger, and that's why I kind of made the brand is bigger than me for everything I do now because it's always been bigger than me. It's been giving kids hope that you don't have to resort to doing the things that you see around you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
That's tough. I want to go back a little bit. You mentioned, your father being that big inspiration in your life. Shout out to the fathers out there.
Shout out to the fathers.
Shout out to, especially the black fathers. You're a new father, right?
I'm a new father.
oh, congrats.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's
6
big
months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a leaguer coming out.
Oh yeah.
Facts.
Number 1 pick, 2042.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, say that.
Yeah.
Right? So a fathership is important. Parenting is important. And you mentioned this was during a time in your life where you was recruited by everyone. So bring me back to right before you were, being recruited by these people. Who did you begin to play basketball with? Who put you in front of the limelight to be able, for those individuals to even be able to see you, to be recruited, to get noticed, to get, as they would say, scouted back in the day?
Yeah. To be honest, I don't even know how it all started. Like I'm a kid. Like I'm in like 4th, 5th grade and I'm just hooping with the guys. Like my daddy started AAU team just so we could, travel and play on the road. Granted, we didn't have a lot of money, so we couldn't travel to like Virginia and like, across the country and stuff. So we would play local tournaments and the first name of our team was called Wingstop. And literally we had Wingstop on our shirt. It was a local chicken company. Yeah, like they sponsored our jerseys. It was reversible jerseys, like the shorts. We had the same color shorts. It won't really no switching them out. So we really ain't have a lot. We had these shoes, they were busted, but we're happy to be in it because we don't see none of that stuff. Like for real, it was like Nike shoes. We would travel on the road and we went to Wilson, North Carolina, and I would play with the boys and I would just be cooking. My dad would call up these teams and he would be like, "Hey, I got a girl on my team. Would you be okay if she played?" And they would laugh at him on the phone. And I would get down there, and then I'll be the leading scorer, dropping 20, 30 points on their team, and now they upset, and they mad. They like, yo, I didn't know you had this type of girl on your team. Like, nah, she can't play. Stuff like that.
That's
so
crazy.
whenever I got a little older, and my dad, he fooled me one day, and he was like, all my friends, all the guys, they in the pool. We had this tournament in Wilson. They at the pool, and they having all types of fun. And he looked at me, he was like, nah, you finna play with these girls now. I'm finna be in the pool with them. Like, we just played a game. He was like, nah, you about to play with the girls. So I went out and I played with the girls. Man, I was livid. Like, I was livid. By the time I got out the game, I walked to the pool. They were getting out. And when I tell you that moment, man, I was like, yo, I ain't signed up to play with no girls. Like, I'm playing with boys for the rest of my life. And then from there, it just kind of took off. Like, we went to tournaments. We played in Raleigh.
What grade are you at this point?
I'm like 6th grade.
Okay.
I'm 6th grade in Raleigh, 5th, 6th grade. And we go to the tournament and people start to notice. Now I'm in Raleigh. That's like the triangle. Like people actually, this connects out there in the triangle. In Wilson, it's not really a lot. Go to the triangle. And people calling people now. They like, yo, this girl out here hooping. You gotta go watch it. People walking up to me after games, talking to me and stuff. And I'm just a little kid just hooping. And from there, I went home about 6th grade still. We just getting letters in the mail at this point. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm still trying to be a kid. I'm like, oh.
Letters from who?
Shoot, I don't even remember the first letter I got. It was just a lot swarming in.
You don't
at
remember
one
the
time.
first letter you got?
I don't remember it.
Everybody remember the first letter they got. Who was your first letter? You don't remember either.
I think UNCW was my first
Okay.
letter.
Who was your first?
My first letter was UNC Carolina.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And Villanova, it came like it was UNC Carolina and Villanova. They came like one day apart.
That's tough.
Yeah, you was like an early bloomer. You was getting to it a little
I was
early.
getting to it.
What
She
age?
was.
Yeah, she was.
This was 8th grade.
Word.
Yeah, 8th grade.
We gotta run that story back on when you played with the boys because that's interesting. So you you was giving them all type of work, 20-30 with the boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your dad told you that you got to play with the girls.
Yeah.
So you did you play a game with the girls?
Yeah, I did.
How'd it go? What you
I
drop?
I killed. I don't even remember the stats. I wasn't even worried about the game. I was trying. I
Yeah.
ain't want to play with the girls.
Right.
So I'm upset. So it's like I'm just kind of going
It's
through
like
the
whatever.
motions. I'm
Right,
like, yeah.
okay.
Because like what happened was I was so used to playing with the guys that whenever I started playing with the girls, I was overly aggressive. So like I would get in there and like they would just start like I would drive to the lane. They would all just start falling. So I got 4 fouls in like the first quarter.
Yeah.
4 charges. So it was like something. It was different for me. And like even take it back to like my middle school game. We was in a championship game and it had to be like the first quarter. I had 4 fouls, and it was just solely off of charges. Like the coach just screaming like every time she drive, fall. She's telling them this. So I had to play an entire game with 4 fouls. I'm in 7th grade.
You just bigger, faster, stronger than
Yeah,
everybody.
and I know and I understand the game. So it was like, it was harder for me to, I guess, transition over to the girls because like I was so much better. Like, and not even saying that in like, I'm like saying that in the most humble way. Like it was easier to play with the girls than way easier than to play with the boys. So whenever I had to transition over, it was hard for me. Like, and mainly because I thought it was too easy. I didn't want to play with the girls because it was way too easy for me. Like I wanted competition. I wanted to play with the guys. So yeah, it was different.
So making that transition was around 8th grade.
Nah, the transition to girls
Yeah.
was in 6th grade.
Okay.
So my dad was trying to prepare me for when I had to play in 7th grade with the girls.
Right. Shout out to Pops again. It's a visionary.
Yeah. So I had to go to a team in Fayetteville. It was called the Carolina Force. And when I played with the Force, I ain't enjoy it because I didn't want to play with the girls.
Right.
So from there, I played with the Force in the 6th grade, going into 7th. That way, when I got to my middle school, you know, I'm playing with the girls and not really playing with the boys anymore unless it's like pickup. And then I went to my 8th grade year. End of 8th grade, I went to the very first Nike YBL team up in Raleigh, North Carolina.
What was the name of that team?
Carolina Flames.
Carolina Flames.
Yeah, it's like CP3 Flames now.
Got you.
So
CP3 Flames?
they merged with CP3 now.
Okay.
That's nice. That's fire.
Okay.
Yep. So started playing with them, and that's when all my surgery started. Is when I started.
Wow.
What grade was that? What age?
I was 14.
14?
I had my very first surgery. I was 14.
Okay, so before you go there, so you were 14 when you transitioned to the Nike girls at EYBL. Was that was the first year for the girls at EYBL, right?
I'm not sure. I know it was the first year for the team in Raleigh to have the EYBL team.
So what year was that? That was like 2015. We played in the EYBL in 20. I played 2011 and 2012. You played 2012.
2013.
12, 13.
And there was no girls at EYBL at the time.
No,
I think
it
it's
wasn't.
2013. Because
Nah,
I graduated in
2011.
2017 high school.
Right.
So it had to be 2013.
Okay.
2013, 2014.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you transitioned to the Carolina Flames, where were you in your basketball career at that point in regards to like notoriety, in regards to who was recruiting you, things of that nature, or like, you know,
Yeah.
right?
So whenever I was in 8th grade, I want to say 7th or 8th grade is whenever I became ranked number 1 in the country per ESPN. I think that was the year. 8th grade going into, or 7th grade going into 8th grade year.
7th grade going to the 8th grade year, you was number 1 in the country.
Yeah.
Who was in that class?
We had, who was in my class? We had Megan Walker. Me and her was going fighting back and forth.
I remember that.
Number 1.
Where's she at now?
She
still
might
hoop?
she might be in the league.
Okay.
She might be in the league. We had this girl named Rella Booth. She was like ranked 3rd. Alexis Moore, she played on the LSU team that won a championship. She was in that class. We had some dogs. Kennedy Carter.
Kennedy Carter, the light-skinned point guard?
She was in our class.
You ever play her?
Yeah, I played her all the time.
You used to cook her, huh?
I don't even remember. Like I remember she was on
She a dog.
She a dog.
Yeah.
She was on shoot, some team out in Texas. It was DFW Elite. And she was on the EYBL circuit too. So we would always have to play against them all the time. But she was a dog. Like she was a dog. Her and Alexis.
What position did Alexis play?
She was a point guard too.
Wow.
Nah, there was some dogs that came out of my class. For real. And they still thriving in the league too. Dana Evans, she played for I want to say she don't play for Chicago. She in the league too, but she small guard. She feisty.
Okay. So from 7th grade to 8th grade, would you say you like came on the scene out of nowhere like the other people? Because typically, once you hit middle school, like 5th, 6th grade, that's when they start like ranking kids.
Yeah.
But majority of the time they have like a top 10 or whatever, what have you. And when you go to a circuit like the EYBL, everybody kind of knows who's who.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say you kind of came out of nowhere and like came automatically to the number one spot, or did you like start at a place on the charts and then jump to number one? How was that?
Nah, they knew who I was well before I knew who I was. Like
Yeah,
I was already up there. Like
Yeah.
I ain't even know nothing about no rankings or nothing. Like it's like where I'm from, you don't really
Facts.
we ain't thinking about that. Like we just want to hoop. So I knew it was different, and I knew things was finna be crazy for me because I was playing in the middle school game, 7th grade maybe, and I had Duke and UNC sitting front row, sitting beside each other at my game.
In the 7th grade.
In 7th grade, and I knew from there.
That's crazy.
Like,
I ain't
it's
never
finna
had
be
that
crazy.
7th grade.
A lot of people never had that before.
Yeah, that's elite. So you were a phenom. You were considered a phenom in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
And at that time, your mentality, what you're saying is you kind of really didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I was just trying to hoop.
Yeah.
Like I was just enjoying it. Like coming from the block, like we don't think about nothing like that. We just enjoy playing the game. Like, and for me, like I really, really love the game. So I could care less about a ranking. I could care less about who recruited me. Like it was just the love of the game for me. Like
Right.
the game took me away from the reality of in which I was living in. Like the reality of coming back to drug deals happening right in front of me, somebody shooting or drive-bys and stuff like that. Like the reality was I was just able to hoop. Like it was just
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that I often think about is I'll look at that top 100 list, and I have a kind of similar story to yours in regards to being in a certain spot and the people around you. You're not really aware of what's happening. You're not really aware of you being invited to this camp, the magnitude of what that means, or you being ranked the number one player in the nation and what that entails, what that means. Predicated upon the individuals around you, they're just not aware. You know, they've never experienced that.
Yeah.
They've never played, you know, or been to that level or had any guidance of that matter. So I kind of think about, okay, I'm looking at this top 100 list. I wonder if those other individuals, if the people around them knew the magnitude of what was going on. And I kind of compare and contrast and say, okay, they had these, like, I'll give you an example. I remember, and you may remember this too. So this guy right here, Che Bob, and we were invited to the Nike Elite 100 camp in 2012.
I think I remember that too.
2012.
Yeah.
Right? And it was abundance of guys that was there. I could just list them off. D'Angelo Russell, Devin Booker, Kelly Oubre, like all of these guys. And I can vividly remember Devin Booker in the corner talking about his trainer, talking about his like his routine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was just listening to his routine.
JB was there too, Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown was there.
Word.
And by the way, there was a top 10 performers list at that camp, and I was listening to the top 10.
Was.
That's a
Word.
fact.
That's tough.
That's a fact.
Nah, you was a dog, man.
Hey, you know.
You was a dog.
Hey, it
Miss
runs in the
Flowers.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah, runs in the family.
family. So, but to finish that point, certain individuals, they had, I guess I want to say, a upper hand due to the individuals around them having experience and
Knowing
knowing
what's
the
going
magnitude
on,
of what's
for
going
sure.
on. And individuals like yourself, when you just have this natural raw talent, this natural raw gift, you know, that you're giving out to the world, I would assume that that's the reason why, you know, the character that you have, and you giving back to the kids and the things that you're doing today.
Yeah.
You know, but not to get too ahead of ourselves. Let's pick up back from where you were. So 7th, 8th grade, you were ranked number 1 in the nation. Take me back to prior to the first injury, or if you want to talk about that first injury, like how were things up until that point?
Yeah. Before I get into that, I want to go piggyback off your D-Book comment about him working out, stuff like that, having a trainer. Bro, I was getting drills from you. Like, we ain't have we couldn't afford no trainer, so
Facts.
so all we had was what we thought would make sense, right? And I remember seeing you running the stadiums and stuff like that, and that inspired me. So I would get my brothers, and we lived right in the trailer park behind Clinton High School. So we would literally run to the stadiums, have a parachute. My pops bought us a parachute. He bought my brothers these little shoes that it got like a little circle on the front of it. And
jump soles.
I don't know what they call, but he bought them that. And
get your calves looking
right. So
Rocks.
we would get the parachute out. They would have those shoes on, and I would have to have this like little mask joint that you can't really breathe in it, but it's like it's for like I think I used it before
altitude.
I went to, I used it before I went to USA trials. And
I wanted to ask you about that USA trials.
Yeah.
When was the first time you went to the USA trials?
Ooh, I was young. I was like, don't quote me on this, but I want to say I was maybe 7th grade. I was young though, and that one I didn't get invited to that USA trials, right? I just got people were just telling me like, you need to go, you need to go, you need to go. But I was the youngest one there. Like I'm literally, you got the Asia Durs, you got the Ted Coopers, you got like a lot of people who like really them dogs, and like it was for their class. And I went out there, and before I went, I had to call Dawn Staley, actually. And when I called Dawn Staley, she was just giving me a whole bunch of like motivation and stuff for it. I don't even know how we got contacted to do this, but it was crazy.
7th grade, you just picked up the phone and called Dawn Staley.
Yeah, I was talking to Dawn Staley before.
Who
I
is
went to
Dawn
trials.
Staley for the people that don't know?
But she's a legend. Like
they better put their Googles on.
What,
Yeah,
man? She's a legend.
7th grade.
I'm young. Like I'm young, and I'm on the phone with Dawn Staley. I might have been younger than that, for real. And she just giving me a lot of like motivation, a lot of tips and stuff before I went. I ain't make the team. I mean, that was kind of a given. I'm the youngest one there, but I was still like, I still held my own. It was a great experience. Shoot, it was the first time I put my parents on a flight. For real, like we were
crazy.
Like we were really on a flight to Colorado. Like I remember, and I love to tell this story, but my mom, she's super protective, and it was the first time being in the airport. They got them little transit joints that run through it.
Yeah.
And I got on the train before them, and the door shut behind me. So my mom, she's on this side, I'm on this side. I'm in the train, and I'm gone. But I could just hear her screaming. I was like, she called me, she was almost in tears. Don't leave. Just make sure you get off the next stop. Please don't leave. And she like almost crying and stuff. And I was like, yo, mom, I'm still here. I'm straight. But that shit was funny though.
Shout out to moms.
Shout out to moms.
Sure.
But yeah, it was just like a crazy experience though. Like but that mask, it helped a lot because like I definitely couldn't breathe up there. It was different. I don't know if y'all been to Colorado before.
Oh yeah, I played there. Colorado, yeah.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah,
You played at Colorado State, right?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That altitude is serious.
The first month, I struggled for sure. The first month, but after that, it was pretty much smooth sailing. You know, you get used to it.
Yeah, my junior year, we played at Wyoming.
Same thing.
Yeah, they had a clip of us with the mask on ESPN, like we couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nasty.
That border war.
It was nasty.
We used to trash them. Wyoming.
Yeah.
They didn't want no parts.
So that's fire. So you went to the USA trials at an early age, 7th grade, maybe roughly, and then you went to another one after that.
Yeah, I got invited to that one. So they sent a joint in the mail. And they were like you were invited. They flew me out and all that kind of stuff. I went out there by myself this time, and we like stayed in like the dorms and stuff like that. And it's crazy because at the time, the guy I'm about to tell y'all, he wasn't even like big like he was now. But his name is Shakur. He was a boxer. He's a boxer.
Shakur Stevens?
Yeah, so he was. I was up there with him, and I met him when I was there, and like we was kicking it and stuff like that. And I was up there with a whole bunch of other people, like the people I named before. Like it was all of us just in one dorm, and we was just chilling. So when I got invited, I had this was after I tore my ACL the first time already. So whenever I got there, I tweaked my leg again. I ain't tell nobody though. I'm just chilling. I'm still trying to go with it. At this point, I make it to the last cut. I'm like, it's like top 40 or something like that. And I'm already knowing in my head like, yo, I can't even go. Like, I already know what's finna happen, but I'm still going like trying my best because it's like, yo, this is an opportunity of a lifetime right here. 100% could have made a team, but the joint was so like painful. I was like,
so this is your knee, your leg,
yeah, this is my knee. So I ended up when I tweaked it, I already knew like I can't really go as hard as I want to, like for real. But I flew all the way up this way. I ain't finna, just give up like that. Ended up not making the team, but definitely, gain a lot of respect from being up there and, just kind of, showing, who we are from Clinton for real. So it was a good experience and I enjoyed it.
So what was the report of your knee injury at that?
It was just like a little tweak, like I don't know if you know, but like whenever you tear your ACL, you have like a lot of like scar tissue. Well, I do. I have a lot of scar tissue that build up. So whenever I tweak my knee, it's that scar tissue breaking up and it's super painful. Like it can hurt for a day or it can hurt up to like weeks, months.
Yeah.
It just depends on how much of it like broke up in that instance. So it can be from like a single step or whatever, but that ended up happening. It's something that I just had to deal with.
So that was after your first ACL injury. So your first ACL injury was what grade or what year?
It was at the end of my freshman year. I was on the circuit. It's crazy. It's a crazy story.
On the circuit? Happened on the circuit?
Happened on the circuit. Like I was a freshman playing on the top team at EYBLT. So this is the Carolina Flames. And I remember we was in Tennessee. We was playing against Tennessee Flight. Like I literally remember it like it was yesterday. We was playing against this girl. She was a dog too. She was a guard. Her name was Anastasia Hayes. I had went up for at first it was the 10 minutes went by in the game. I had 21 points already. So you can only imagine like what I'm doing. Everybody at the game. You got UConn, Duke, South Carolina, Notre Dame, Iowa. You got everybody at the game. Like everybody you think of, they at this game watching it. 21 points in 10 minutes. One play, I go up for a layup. I get a steal. I'm on a fast break layup. Girl swipe down. She swiped down. I just blacked out. I ain't know what happened. I'm just holding my leg. Like I wake up and I'm like holding my leg. I tried to get up, couldn't walk for real. So I went back to the back. They held me to the back. And there's footage out there too of this happening. I walked back to the back with like some help. Ended up checking my knee. That was like, yeah, the joint tore.
Wow.
The joint tore. Yeah. So I'm walking like I don't know what an ACL tear is. So I'm like I'm walking like I still got to get around. I'm in Tennessee, and it's just me, my mom, my dad not even there. And like my dad is usually like the one that really be like, my mom she's like the soft one. My dad he really be, he that guy. He
the alpha male.
Yeah. So my mom babied me a lot. But I'm walking down the street and all of a sudden, like I'm walking, I'm just falling. So every step I take, I'm just walking and falling. I'm like, yo, I can't get around like this. So I ended up going back, had surgery and stuff like that. The Duke doctors took care of me. And then that right there just led into everything else.
Wow. So that was you had already played your freshman campaign because you started out at Clinton High, right? And that was the summer after your freshman year.
Yep.
Okay, so didn't you score 61 points your freshman year?
Nah, that was my senior year.
That was your senior year. Okay, how many years did you play at Clinton High School?
2.
You played 2 years because you played your freshman year.
Mm-hmm. Played my freshman year. Got hurt. Sophomore year, was rehabbing. Came back at the end of my sophomore year. Got on the circuit. Tore it again. If I'm not mistaken. Tore it again at the end of my sophomore year. After I rehabbed. So it was like rehab 9 months. Month after that, tore it. Rehabbed again. then played my senior year. I think this is the first time I told that story right. It's making sense. Because usually I be all over the place with the numbers because it happened like so often. But I think that's when it was fresh in the freshman year, rehab, 9 months, toured a month later, rehabbed again for a year. That makes sense.
That's sophomore year.
Rehab, no, that was the end of my sophomore when I toured. So rehab my entire junior year, then played my senior year.
Wow.
So that was 2 of them.
And so you played the 2 years for Clinton High, junior and senior.
No, freshman and senior.
Freshman and senior.
Yep, I missed my sophomore, junior.
Okay.
That's when she led the country in scoring. 37.
37 points.
We got that in common. We both led North Carolina in scoring at
Yeah,
one point in time.
yeah, you did do that. Let me give you some.
Word?
Yeah.
That's
He
tough.
did do that.
Yeah. But she was second. She was second in the nation. Though. I was way off in the nation comparison.
Right.
I held her down in North Carolina though.
Okay, so you that senior year, I thought I seen a report in regards to you scoring 61, and then you went back and scored 62.
Yeah, that was my senior year.
So you did that in the senior year.
In the same season, it was in January and then in February.
Wow. And in that year, you broke. Let me ask you this: were you recruited by UConn?
Yeah.
You was recruited by UConn.
recruited by-
Who recruited you?
Of course.
Shay Rouse.
Shay Ralph, and you
Yep.
broke her record.
Yep.
And she's from Fayetteville.
Yep.
I didn't even know that. You know who Shay Ralph is?
I don't.
Legend.
Legend.
She went to Terry Sanford. She had the record for the most points. I think she had 60 at Terry Sanford,
That's
the most
insane.
for women's basketball. Then Mikayla broke her record
Man.
in 2 months, right?
Yeah.
Twice in 2 months. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so
that's
tell me about
crazy.
that. How do you feel walking around Clinton, North Carolina? You ranked highly in the nation. People know you. You can call Don Stanley, and you just scored 61 points, and you just bounced back from 2 ACL injuries, and you're still
Yeah.
in high school. You're up 2 ACL injuries. You bounce back from that, score 61 points, and then 62 points the following month. Tell me about that.
Yeah. The one in January when I broke that, it's crazy because my homeboy, he got killed like a week or 2 before it. And it was my first game back. And that whole game was a blur. The first time I broke the record, it was like a blur. And when I was hooping, I won't think about nothing. Like, I was just like whatever. Like I was like numb. Like I was hurt. Like I was grieving. And at the end of the game, I didn't even know I had 61 points. It was just like somebody was like, I think my dad be taking like stats on his phone for me. And when he did it, he was like, yo, you just scored 61 points. I was like, no way. Scored it. Then after that, I was like, you know what? Let's break it again. So I ended up going out there, and I think I broke that in 3 quarters.
Oh,
62
you
and three
intentionally
quarters.
tried to break it the second. Oh, that's crazy.
It was 62
crazy.
points or something in 2 quarters. I mean 3 quarters. Did all that in 3 quarters.
That's wild.
And then they took me out. They took me out the 4th quarter, and I was like,
Why did it take
They
you out? It
could've
was a
been crazy.
blowout?
it was a blowout.
So you probably could have had the all-time record. I think someone in like 1950 scored 101 points or 107 or something like that in North Carolina. A woman.
Really?
That's before the 3-point line. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
So you probably could have broke that record if they kept you in.
She was for sure getting 100.
Yeah, for sure. 3 quarters.
100.
3 quarters.
It
And
was
what the
ear-
quarters are like 7 minutes, 8 minutes?
Yeah.
7, 8 minutes. Something like that.
That's quick basketball. High school basketball is very, very quick. Yeah.
That's where it is today.
Right. Okay. So at that point, were you like, who were you committed to? Like, or were you committed? Who was you being recruited by at that time?
Yeah, I committed to Duke in 8th grade.
You committed to Duke in the
Wow.
8th grade.
Yep. I committed to Duke in 8th grade.
Did you open your recruitment at any point?
Nope.
You was a solid commit all the
locked
way
in.
through.
I was locked in. For me, it was bigger than basketball. Life after basketball for me.
Mm. What does that
Yeah.
mean to you?
I think that where I come from, you don't see people going to Duke and getting an education from Duke. Duke is, at the time, there was top 5 in education and basketball. Something you can't turn down. I made a decision solely off myself. My parents didn't even know. Like, I got offered from Duke, but grade.
That's
Eighth grade,
huge.
7th, 8th grade. It was early. And whenever they offered me, sat on a little bit, and then I was just like, I walked in my parents' room one day, and I was like, "Yo, I know where I'm going. Where you going?" And my parents, they're UNC fans. So I was like, I think I made my decision. I was like, I'm going to Duke. But like, sure? Yeah. I need the educational piece of this. And I'm so grateful that I, chose to go to Duke because it's opened so many doors. Like so many doors. Like even to the point where one of my professors, bro, he was the ambassador for Austria when Obama was in office. Like you don't see stuff like that every day.
Yeah.
Like literally, like my whole professor got Secret Service coming with him skiing. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that. Like, it's crazy. Like, the people, the connections that I've made, like, it was definitely one of the best decisions I made.
Mm-hmm. And Duke also has one of the best recovery programs when it comes to medical and when it comes to injury prevention and injuries and things of that nature.
They solid, man. They solid. They've been, super, super good to me, especially while I was there. Like, it was really good to me. Like, all my surgeries, I went to them. Like, everything from the first time I had my 14 years old, Duke did all of my surgeries.
Wow.
All of my rehab.
Listen.
Yeah, that was beneficial. That was beneficial because, I mean, it's right around the corner from where you're from. Had you not been committed to Duke, I mean, who knows, like, what schools would have felt the way in regards to you being the number one player in the nation and then you have 2 back-to-back knee injuries.
Yeah, and even with that, we talked about rankings earlier. I tore my ACL the first time, ain't dropped. Tore my ACL the second time, I dropped to like 20, it was like 23, 22, something like that. Or I lied. I tore my ACL the first time, I dropped to 3. That's what it was. So just think about it. Like usually whenever people tear their ACL, like people just cancel them out immediately. Mm-hmm. So I tore it, dropped to 3, still performing at the highest level. Yeah. Like when I came back, like I was still way better than everybody. It was crazy to me. Tore it again, I dropped to 23. I ain't really care about no rankings. I'm just worried about getting better. Still come back, performing at the top level. Like I get to Duke, I'm 2 ACLs under my belt, and I think this is where people like kind of downplay this a lot, is that once you have ACL surgeries, your body changes. Mm-hmm. Like the way you play, you have to change. And they told me, the doctors even told me, it was like, yo, like, you're going to continue to tear your ACL if you don't change the way you play your game. I'm like, yo, I love the way I play my game. So I had to learn how to get to the mid-range more. I had to learn how to pick and choose my spots. So you learn a lot during this process too. Like you learn a lot about yourself. So after that, changed my game up a little bit.
So let me, not to cut you off, what was your game prior to, you was like, I don't want to change my game. What was your game? Who was Mikayla Boykin post surgeries, those 2 ACL surgeries? Who were you? What was your game? Describe it.
I played like a guy. Like literally I play like a guy. Like how I get to the basket, how I finish. Like it's like you put me into a guy's body. Like the athleticism, like all of that, like it was crazy, like to even think of. Like looking back on it, I don't even know how I ended up doing the things that I was doing. Like the IQ level was high. Like everything about it was just like, it just screamed guy. And it comes from me growing up playing with the guys. Like I developed that game that they had. Because how else would I fit in? Being at the block, like if I played like a girl, and not saying that girls are like, the game is different, but it's like more of like an aggressiveness to it whenever you play with guys. Like it's super, super physical, like no foul calls. Like we play at the block, you don't get no foul calls.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like you go up, people push you out the air type stuff. Like it's lethal. And I think that playing with the guys, like I developed that sense of, it was like a different type of swagger when you step onto the court.
Mm. So when you changed your game, what did you change it to? And did you see any benefits from changing your game? Or did you learn the game more? Did the game slow down for you? Like, bring us through that point when they're telling you, like, hey, you have to change your game. That's a monumental moment for someone when you're sitting in the room, kind of sort of like this, and a coach or a doctor, they're telling you, hey, you have to change your game.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a catch-22. It's like, do I do this? It's like, it's kind of like, am I selling my soul I want to be myself, you know? So explain that.
It was different. I had to think the game in a different way, which was super beneficial. And I think that being out with those first 2 surgeries that I had, it made me look at the game in a different perspective. And that perspective now was from the bench. I didn't spend a lot of time on the bench growing up. So whenever I was, out and watching from the bench, I could see the game in a different way. So I could see the things happen the way it happened and why it happened. Or if I'm looking at somebody, I could see why this happened, why they got beat, what their feet look like. And then whenever I play, I really study the game. Like, it's not like I just play just because of play. Like, I study the game. Like, I learn from the game. I learn from every moment in the game. And I think that being on the bench taught me how to be an infinite sponge. Like, learning from every single moment, no matter what the moment is. Like, the coaches coaching in the huddle, like, you learn so much from that. Like, I would literally sit and watch my coach talk to people on the bench just to hear what they're saying to them. So that way I'm learning from that too. And whenever I did that, I learned how to slow my game down because I'm a super fast-paced guard. Yeah. And whenever I slow my game down, I was able to open up the floor more. So now, instead of just driving to the basket or getting my mid-range, I'm adding so many different layers to my game now. Now I'm adding in the pick and roll and how to maneuver off a pick and roll, how to put my teammates in a position to succeed. Yeah. I'm able to learn my teammates more, learn what my teammates like to do, what they don't like to do. So that way I'm not putting them in a position to, fail. And whenever I started doing that, the limits of me being a player was crazy. Like, now I'm making passes that I know my teammates are going to be able to finish it. Or I'm making passes that I know my teammates are going to be able to create something for themselves. Because when I played at Duke, I had to be a creator. Yeah. We didn't have a lot of creators on our team. So I created for everybody. And I wouldn't have learned how to do that if I didn't study the game from a different lens. So whenever they say you need to change your game, I changed it to being able to just, I guess, evaluate the game from a different light. And from there, I became a starter as a freshman after 2 surgeries. Yeah. Like, you don't see that ever. Yeah. It's crazy. And I'm still performing at the highest level after 2 surgeries.
So before you get there, you're a starter now at Duke. How did the end of your senior campaign go? Because typically you just mentioned that, you were number 1 and then they kind of dropped you in the rankings after those injuries. Typically number 1 player in the nation, they're an automatic McDonald's All-American or they're automatically in the Jordan Brand Classic, right? That didn't happen for you. And a lot of people feel like it should have, right? So tell me why you think or, those people made that decision and how do you feel about that?
Yeah, like, I think that they made a decision off the sole fact that, 1, I had multiple ACL surgeries, and 2, I only played 2 years of high school basketball. Now, I never felt any type of way about it because, like I said, I'm not one for the accolades. I'm not one for, the awards and all that kind of stuff. I just enjoy the game. Like, I enjoy watching the game. I enjoy learning the game. I enjoy talking about the game. So whenever that happened to me, it was a lot of people in my ear saying, yo, like, dang, they snubbed you. You should have been the McDonald's All-American. I'm like, nah, like, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. It's going to be greater things that happen for me. I'm not worried about it. Let these people shine, give them their moment. And whenever I did that, it's I'm all about what's for me will be for me, what's not won't be for me. Yeah. So whenever that happened, it was so many bigger things that happened for me than McDonald's All-American or Jordan Brand Classic. Who's to say I would have went out there and made a mockery of myself? So I think everything happens for a reason. And the people that made it, like, they played all 4 years. Yeah. Like, they put the work in.
Yeah. I think that was the bigger thing of maybe why you weren't selected. Maybe it was just 2 years because you was still from top to bottom better than everybody.
Yeah. And they knew that. Everybody knew that too. Like, everybody knew that.
When you don't play all 4 years or you bounce around different high schools, they try to taint that,
Yeah.
Was that your first time kind of seeing the politics of the business of basketball?
No.
Okay.
100% not. When I seen politics whenever I went to USA trials.
Yeah.
That's when everything opened up for me. I was like, yeah. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know.
It seemed like you had like your head on, like you was very mature at a young age, like to understand like your recruitment process, picking a school at, that's insane to me. So,
Man, I had to grow up fast. Like when I say I had to grow up fast, like I literally mean I had to grow up fast. Like, at the beginning of this, I told y'all how I literally had to try to be a kid. Like the moment that I couldn't be a kid anymore was the moment whenever me and my family would go to grocery stores and we couldn't even walk around the grocery stores because so many people stopping to take pictures. That's the moment I had to stop being a kid. Like I couldn't go out with my friends anymore because it was always eyes on me. Like people come to my house, they come to my crib, like where I live at, and I couldn't even enjoy it because we had people coming over and taking pictures every moment that they could. So I couldn't be a kid whenever I started getting a lot of notoriety and stuff. So at that moment I had to grow up. It was like everything I did was under a microscope. Like everything. And I mean that like and you even know this too, like I would go to games and stuff. I got people, I'm senior year, I got people cutting out pictures of me. I ain't never seen that before. Like literally they're making art. They got my face on it and they just handed it to me. I'm like, yo. They like sign my forehead, sign my phone. I'm like, yo, like I ain't never seen it. So like I had to grow up fast, and I think that kind of helped with like the maturity and stuff like that. Even making my decision that when I went to Duke, like that just kind of shows you like how young I was and how I was capable of making decisions on my own too. I always look at the bigger picture, man. Always.
Did you go to prom?
Nope, I missed every prom. Every prom. I couldn't go to dances.
So typically, most athletes that are like some high level freak athlete, right, ranked in the nation, top, whatever your sport is, football, basketball, baseball, you miss out a lot on your childhood, right? You miss out a lot of elemental development stages and just simply being a kid, you know. And some people think that that's crippling to a said individual. Some people say, well, you know, it's just a job. It comes with having that gift.
Yeah.
You know, I personally don't know if that's beneficial or not. What is your perspective on it? Because you see, like he said, you seem to have a mature mentality about certain things. For me, I would have been upset if I wasn't selected in the McDonald's All-American. Yeah. I probably would have made a tweet like, y'all got me up. Like, you know, I would have been, I would have been tight. Tweaking. I would have been tweaking. And for you to have a level head during these different stages in your life, prior to even stepping foot on campus at Duke, I think that's commendable to you. I think that's commendable to your father, your mom, that circle that you grew up with, because that couldn't have been me. It couldn't have been me.
Yeah.
Right?
Nah, I feel that. Nah. And I'd be lying if I say it wasn't like a small feeling of feeling like, oh, I should be there, but like, hey, that stuff ain't really matter. Like, it's so much bigger than me, man. Like, I went through 2 ACL surgeries. Like, for me to even come back from those and not give up, man, that right there was more important than a McDonald's All-American Jordan Brand. Like, I still get to play the game I love.
Yeah.
Forget 2 games, it's gonna be televised. I don't care about that. I got plenty more games that's gonna be televised. I'm gonna be on bigger screens. Like,
sure.
So.
Wow. Okay, so leading up to your freshman year, you step on campus at Duke. Are you healed? Are you 100%? Like, what does your body feel like? What is your mentality like? You're the freshman on campus. Everybody knows who you are. The players that are already there, they know who this incoming freshman is. How was your freshman year? Did they treat you like a freshman? Did they, give you that freshman little bullying? Did they welcome you in? How was that?
Nah, like, I tell people all the time, like, my experience as a freshman was amazing, man. I had 2 All-Americans on my team. I had Rebecca Greenwood and Lexi Brown. And Lexi Brown became one of my closest friends. Like, you see me at Duke my freshman year, you see Lexi, you see me, you see me, you see Lexi. Like, that's how we was. Like, that was our dynamic. And she really just took me under her wing. And when she did that, man, it was, like, limitless for me my freshman year. Like, Lexi in the gym, I'm going to the gym. Lexi working out with a trainer, I'm working out with a trainer. Like, when you think about my oldest brother, Michael, put Lexi in the same category whenever I went to Duke, because she really was, that upperclassman, that All-American that I could look up to and that can really motivate and drive me. Like, I ain't never seen somebody work as hard as Lexi. Wow. Like, ever. Like, Lexi was so hard working, and it kind of tells to where she is now.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, she's going through what she's going through health wise, but man, like I said, like I ain't never seen nobody work as hard.
Wow.
So my freshman year when I got there, it's crazy because we had a trip to Italy. Like we had to go play in Italy. So when we went to Italy, I was fighting for a starting position and got to Italy and I was cooking. Like I was, you know, playing well and stuff like that. Tweaked my leg. I'm still playing and stuff like that. I'm telling the trainers, we get back to Durham and I'm telling the trainers, this is before the season start. Telling the trainers like, yo, like, they don't feel good. Like running and it's just not getting better. Just like, yo, push through it, blah, blah, blah. Because it'll go away sometimes. So it's like, you know, teetering between like, all right, do I get this checked or like, do I just like need to rest or whatever? So I rest and it'll feel better. Whole time, something torn in it. I'm not knowing this because like my leg's so strong, like I'm not knowing something torn in it. So whenever we play in the exhibition game, it's probably like our second, third game in to the season, something like that. I want to say, don't get me lying on the number. Playing against Alaska Anchorage, I never forget. Tore my ACL again.
Wow.
Yo, like immediately when I did it, I knew. Like immediately. So from there, my whole freshman year was kind of tanked, but it was still that mindset. Like, yo, one, I'm not giving up. I gotta get this degree. Gotta get this Duke degree. So whenever I did that, you know, rehab hard, was in the gym. That's how I developed a great shot because I always find moments to just kind of, you know, better myself. So I would sit in the gym for hours and I would just have one crutch on one side and I just be form shooting for hours.
Wow.
So this is your freshman year, tear your ACL again.
Yep.
I want to ask you this. So what was your mentality like in regards to the W, like the WNBA? Like, did you go into college with the mentality like, yo, I'm going to the league? Most guys that are number one in the nation, top 10, top even 40, their mentality is, I'm about to get drafted, right? I'm about to go in here. I'm about to do maybe a year. I might do 2 years, but I'm going in here to put up numbers and I'm going to the league, right? Where however long I have to stay. What was your mentality like in regards to the W?
I didn't really have no say so, like for real. Like it's whatever. To me, I think for me it was just more so playing a healthy season.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't catch a break. Like I was always going through something. I was like, when am I gonna hit the moment or hit the spot where I feel like I'm good, like I feel good. And I never felt good. So for me, the W was 4 years away, 3-4 years away. So I had time. So I was just thinking like, yo, you're gonna have a healthy season. You're gonna do everything you can possible to be able to work your way back and to just be healthy. So that was really my mindset, just trying to figure out a space where I can just, you know, feel good. Cause I ain't know what feeling good was no more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Injuries, man, yeah.
Yeah, and it put you in a bad mental space too. So like, you ain't think about none of that.
heavy. Right.
None of that.
So after your freshman year, you suffered that injury. And when you say things like it put you in a heavy mental space, where were you mentally at that point to attack your recovery then? Because now you're on your third ACL injury at Duke, right? Sometimes when you get to your university or wherever you are, you know, the coach and the coaches, the medical team, they kind of start to look at certain players funny, like, man, you in the training room again? That's how it is for guys. I don't know how it is for women, but they're like, you in the training room again, right? We have to spend some more money on you again, right? What were you feeling at that point, and how did you get through it after that third ACL injury?
I think everybody knew what was up with me. Like they knew that they had, you know, a special player that was, you know, in their hands. And whenever it happened, like they were literally hands on. Like everybody was just hands on, like trying to like figure out ways that they can just kind of, you know, help me become healthy again. So they were like, even if I'm on the court, which is so crazy to me because I don't like I said, I don't know how I became this player, but even if I'm just on the court, I make a huge impact. So their whole goal was to make sure that they can take all the steps possible so that way I don't tear my ACL again. Mentally, man, I was in a dark room. Like it was times where I would just go to my like, you know, dorm room and I just turn off all the lights and I wouldn't even like move. Like it was just like such a space, like, and it wasn't even because of the physical part of it. Like the physical part didn't even kill me. Like what we talking about now is we talking about you just took away a game that I love for a whole nother year again. Like you took away the one thing that could put me at peace with life, put me at peace on this earth. You took it away from me again. So it's like now I'm in this place of like, where do I find my happiness? Because my happiness is on the court. I can't be on the court. I'm in this new environment. I'm at Duke. It's not a lot of black people at Duke. So where can I find my peace? Can't go to the gym whenever I want to because I'm on crutches. I can barely walk at this point, especially at the beginning. First 3 months, you can't really walk on it. Like you can't do stuff on your own. You got to rely on everybody else to give you a ride. I'm on a whole nother campus than everybody else. My team traveling, I'm by myself. I live in a dorm where it's 3 flights of stairs. Like I had to end up getting them to move me to another dorm. And when I moved into that dorm, like I lie to you not, the room looked like a closet. Like it's literally like thin. I had like a little desk right here. This how thin it was. The desk and the bed touch. That's how little the room was. But it's the only available room that they could find for me. It had roaches in it. Like I ain't talking like the little ones. These joints that
the
big.
water bug joint.
Yeah, like they huge.
And you in Bull City too.
I'm in the Bull. So I don't have my team with me. I don't got nobody that can really help me. Granted, I have my football player friends. Like I developed a huge relationship with my football player friends. Like one of them, his name is Chris Rumpf. He plays for the Chargers right now. Chris would come to my room. Lie to you not, he would come to my room. He would just walk in, turn on the game, just sit there and play the game. He wouldn't even say a word to me. It was just that body. Like it was just a body there.
Yeah.
And he knew that. Like he knew if it was just a body there, and it would kind of give me a sense of like, all right, I got people that's there for me. And I always remember this day where it was snowing. My team, I think they were in Virginia or somewhere. It was snowing real bad. I had to go eat. I'm on crutches, so if y'all, you ever been on crutches, when it's wet, the crutches slide. So I had to call up all my football boys, and whenever I called them, what they were supposed to do was like from here, it was probably like a block away to walk to go get food. It wasn't even that far. And I called them up and I was like, yo, like, I need to go get some food, y'all. Can y'all help me out? So we all walk into the food joint, and they're all boxing me in. So that way, like, if I slip, they can catch me or something like that.
All angles. They got you.
They got me all angles. These dudes was like, yo, Mikayla, can you just stand right here real quick so we can play football in the snow? And I was like, bro, what? So I'm standing there. The rest of the food joint is we got about 20 steps left. I stopped. They was like, it ain't gonna be long. It's about 5 minutes. Man, I lie to you not. I was out there for about an hour, and they was playing football in the snow. So I took it upon myself. I was like, you know what? I ain't waiting for these no more. So I walked off. Bro, why I walk off, and what did it for me? I was like, yeah, man, like this injury is not it. I went to go step to the food joints called Marketplace. My daggone crutch went through the snow. I already knew I was gone. I just threw the other crutch to the side and I just braced myself. I was like, wow. I just hit the ground. But I had snow all over my head and stuff. And it's funny because all them came running up afterwards.
Right.
I looked at them like I got snow in my shoes and stuff. I'm like, yo, like that's messed up. Y'all sat out there for an hour and played football, and I'm over here in the snow, like face planted. They foul.
Somebody got to make an AI simulation of that.
Nah, for real. But nah, that was
a little cartoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that right there, like that let me know. I was like, yeah, this injury finna be a long road.
Wow.
Yeah, long road. But I like to kind of throw humor into like the things I went through because it was definitely a dark space.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
But you bounced back from that though. You endured that. So you went from enduring the first ACL injury, right? Number one player in the nation. Second ACL injury. Still at the top of your league. You make it to college. Freshman year. Duke, right?
I'm a Dookie, by the way.
Oh,
ACL injury, right? At the beginning of the season. You bounce back from that. You rehab. So pick up at that point after rehab, after you bounce back from that first ACL injury at Duke.
Mm-hmm. I rehab. I get back. I'm smooth. I'm playing. Like whenever you get hurt and you're out for a long time, it's different whenever you're practicing and when you're in the game. Like the wind and being able to shoot and all that kind of stuff is different. Like you got to get your mojo back. So whenever I got my mojo back, I was smooth. Like it was smooth sailing. Same thing as high school. I ended up tearing my ACL again against Miami. Now with this ACL injury in particular was the hardest one for me.
This is your sophomore year.
This is my end of sophomore year.
End of the sophomore
So
year.
I lost this year, but I lost this year because I played too many games, I think. Or it might have been. This is the one that I literally forget it because it was just such a terrible time for me. I think it was my sophomore year, towards the middle of my sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
I think so because I played my senior year. But whenever I did this one, it was so rough for me. I was playing against Miami. I never forget it. I was gonna get a loose ball right there in the corner, about to go out of bounds, and I went to step, and my leg hyperextended a little bit. And when it hyperextended, I felt it, but I got back up and I started playing. Like it was whatever. Then I remember I went to go get a rebound or something like that, and I felt like somebody pushed me, but I looked around, wasn't nobody around me, so I knew something was off. They went to go check my leg, and they was like, "Oh, you're good. Like we don't feel nothing," not knowing that underneath all of everything, my ACL was torn. It just felt like it was good because of how strong I was, like how strong I rehabbed. So whenever I got back into the game, I fell again. So I came out. By the end of that game, my leg looked like a bowling ball.
Wow.
Like, that's how swollen it got so fast. And whenever I went to get my MRI and stuff like that, they ended up saying I tore my ACL, had surgery and all that kind of stuff. And I think the worst part for me was stitches. Like every single time. Actually, I bring it back for you. A lot of people don't know this, but every single time I had my ACL surgeries, I would go into like the anesthesia and stuff like that, and they would put like the IV and stuff in my hand, like in my arm. I'm super sensitive, so when they put it in my arm, it burned so bad to the point that I would cry, like before every single one. So I would literally panic before every surgery because as soon as they put it in there, like I literally be like geeking out. And that was probably the worst pain I ever felt in my life. And it's not even like telling like the ACL like tearing my ACL. This was just like the anesthesia part.
Yeah.
So every time I go to a doctor or anything, like I be like, I don't like going because I'm so scared of it. Like it's the traumatizing part of it.
Yeah.
So after I had that surgery, I then told myself, I was like, yo, like you got to figure something out because it's your fourth one. Like what you about to do with your life? Like you need to figure something out and figure it out quick because the dreams are going to the league. Nobody gonna pick up nobody who has 4 ACL.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do to make an impact, change the trajectory of your life? So ended up doing that. Whenever I rehab back and stuff like that, came back my senior year, I already had the mindset like, yo, get through this year. When you get through this year, just have fun. Like try to make this year a year that you'll never forget in a positive way. Because all my other years, it's like, yo, like, it's just always something.
Yeah.
Like, it's just always something. So, get to my senior year, and we got, might have been, I played a little bit my junior and senior. And Kara Lawson came in. Kara came in at Duke, and when she came in.
That's the coach? Okay.
Yep. Kara Lawson, this is the new coach.
Okay.
So, we had to change the coaching staff. And this is COVID, too.
Right.
So COVID happened and
that's tough.
What?
The whole COVID. I can imagine playing in COVID.
Yeah.
Or being in school during COVID. I finished right before
crazy.
that. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So COVID happened and we're playing. We ended up opting out of the season. Once our team opted out of the season was kind of done. I still got those years back though. So I had 2 years.
So COVID was your senior year, straight through. So when you tore your ACL your freshman year, sophomore year, did you take a red shirt year to get an extra year, or did you?
So one of those years, I couldn't get it back because I played so many games.
Got you.
So we put in the pill, and it was like the limit was like 8 games. I think I played like 10.
You think that was your sophomore year?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I remember this. There's just so much that happened.
Understood.
But the COVID year, so I got the COVID year back and I got the redshirt year because I played like 5 games my freshman year. Something like that. So I had 2 extra years.
Wow.
End up doing what, 6? 6 years?
6 years. So I did 4 at Duke. I went to Charlotte and played 2. Well, 1.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to let me back on something real quick in regards to getting your mojo back. People don't understand that when you go through an injury, what she means by your mojo, it's like your body composition. It's like when you come back from an injury, it just feels different even running on a court, dribbling a basketball, shooting in rhythm. Like you need that rhythm to come back, and you be using crutches, you're favoriting one side, and people don't understand that your hip can rise up and now your body composition is out of whack and now you back on the basketball court trying to make a defensive slide.
Yep.
Next thing you know, or you running for a loose ball, you hyperextend your knee. These things happen all the time, and people don't, people that just watch the game don't understand these things. And they see why somebody like a LeBron lasts so long because he takes care of his body so well.
Yep.
Does all this extra rehab and this extra care. So you having to endure these things. All right, you make it to your senior year and you tear your ACL again your senior year?
Nah, we opt out the season.
Okay, so we're still on 4 ACL injuries. And
So I gotta tell you the backstory that I don't mind telling it. So my senior year, opted out the season. At this point, what's that? 4 ACL surgeries.
4 ACL surgeries.
So
Let me ask you this before you get there. You started rapping before then, right? You started becoming an artist, right?
So when George Floyd passed away, I started rapping
Okay.
that year because I made a freestyle on it.
When George Floyd passed away, I remember this.
So whenever I did that, after I did that, I dropped a freestyle. And when I dropped that freestyle, my good friend Nolan Smith, he played at Duke, coach at Memphis now. He commented on my post, and when he commented, he added Ninth Wonder. So Ninth seen it. Ninth put the fire emojis. Then another friend of mine, she had sent me a link to fill out this like application for this thing called Unlock Her Potential. And with Unlock Her Potential, they pretty much put women with other like people in the industry. So Ninth was in he was one of the people that you can put your application in for. So I put the application in for Ninth. Ninth was like, I did that. It was like the due date was like the next day or something like that. When I tell you, it was like you had to write a 500-word essay. Man, it was the worst essay I probably wrote in my life. Submitted it. I get a text message from Ninth. A couple weeks later, he was like, "Yo, what's up, mentee?" So it was like a mentorship program.
Yeah.
So when he did that, we got on a Zoom call. And when we got on the Zoom call, Ninth was like, he was just talking to me about the industry and rap and stuff like that. He was asking what I wanted from it and all this kind of stuff. We had a great conversation. And then from there, Ninth just always been like a huge like piece into like the music part of me. Not even just a music part, but he's just like a great friend. He's like a great guy. So I would spend a lot of time in his studio too. I would just go down to his studio and I would learn from his artists. I would learn from him. He would give me beats. Like he was just like a dope dude. But when he told me about the application thing, he was like, "Yo, I seen your name," and I was like, "Yeah." Automatically got yours. He was like, "I already selected you," type stuff. So when he did that, he was like, "Yo, like you don't realize like I've been following you since high school." I was like, "What you mean?" And Knight is like a huge basketball guru.
Yeah.
Like, he loves basketball, so he's been following me since I was young, like and just watching my growth as a basketball player. So for me to be able to come to him and be like, "Yo, I'm doing music," crazy.
Wow.
And not to mention, he was my professor.
Yeah.
When he was my professor, I wasn't even interested in music. Like I would go to class and like in my class we had like it was like me, Zion Williamson, it was Trey Jones, it was like a lot of my teammates.
Hold on, time out. Let's not zoom past that real quick.
That's crazy.
So you was at Duke with Zion.
Yeah,
Zion
that's
was
my
there
guy.
2018, 19.
Nah, he was there 2016.
16, yeah.
You was at Duke with some dogs.
Yeah, those my guys.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett was there, right?
Yeah, like
Barrett
all
was
them.
there.
I would be in the summertime. I can recall. It was me, my roommate. Her name Haley Gorecki. She's a dog too. Cam Reddish, and
Cam Reddish was there.
Cam and Trey. So it was us four on campus. I think we the only basketball players on campus at this point. And they would just come to our room and we'll just play the game. Like we would just be sitting there playing 2K.
Yeah.
Like that's how deep it is. Like we go to the gym, them guys in the gym working out. Like it was like genuine. Like those like really my guys. Like I could call them up and be like, yo, like I need this, like, or yo, what you think about this? Like they was really like when I was at Duke, they was really, people that I can go to like as far as friendships.
Yeah.
And like I even got an invite to Trey's wedding. So I went down to Trey's wedding, and when we was at Trey's wedding, Cam was there. And when the Lakers picked them up, literally we get notifications in our phone at the wedding.
Wow.
Cam Reddish signed to the Lakers. So I walk up to her and I'm like, yo, like, we've been in here this whole time and you just now telling me that you just signed to the Lakers? And he's like, yo, I just found out when you did.
Yeah, that's how the league worked. That's crazy.
It's crazy though, like those really my guys though. Like they super genuine people.
Yeah.
They super genuine.
Because Duke is a small campus, so everybody, it's good that you guys had that camaraderie there. Okay, so transitioning from Duke, how did you make the decision to leave your Duke campaign to go to the next school that you went to, which was UNC Charlotte?
Yeah. So the whole time, like my whole goal was to go to Duke's business school when I was like after my senior year. So what happened was when the new coach came in, Kara came in, and she just wanted to start a program over. So she just pretty much told me, she was like, yo, we're gonna go in a different direction. So they went in a different direction. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So at this point, this was like December. This is after we opted out. It's like December. So like I'm not on the team the entire time, December to May type stuff. Like I'm not on the team at all. So then after that, I left. Well, I'm getting recruited by I don't even remember. I know Ole Miss was one of my tops. Charlotte was my top. UNC was one of my tops. It was a couple different schools, and whenever they I was choosing between UNC and UNC Charlotte actually.
That's interesting.
UNC and UNC Charlotte, but listen. So I was like, yo, I need to pray about this. I don't know what school to choose. Prayed, took a nap, woke up from my nap. I had a text message from almost every Charlotte coach, and whenever I seen that, I was like, yo, I'm coming to Charlotte. Charlotte. When to Charlotte, life just been amazing since.
Wow.
I think that I needed that change of scenery. Like UNC and Duke is right there with each other. I needed that change of scenery to become happy and to find myself, find the things that I enjoy doing, which is music too.
So going to Charlotte, you would say you found a new passion, or you found yourself again, which is music.
Music, helping others, being of service to the youth. That's my realm of things right there.
That's beautiful. And you played also at Charlotte a year.
Yep.
And give us a little brief history on that account.
Yeah, so I went to Charlotte, and when I went to Charlotte, it's crazy because I didn't know who committed to Charlotte. I didn't know nobody that was gonna be on the team except like a couple people. Like I knew Tay, I knew Mo, I knew they were gonna be there. And when I got there, all of a sudden I see Charlotte's got a Duke transfer, 2 Kentucky transfers. Like, yo, what? 2 Kentucky transfers? So one of the girls that plays on Kentucky, her name Cam Roach, she came to Charlotte. And when she came to Charlotte, we played AAU together growing up. So it was like, okay, I knew her. There was another girl on the team, her name Jada. I forgot about Jada. Jada was there too. Jada was there and she was a point guard. So Jada was a dog too in college. I mean, when I was in high school. Then the last one, her name Kiki. Kiki came from Kentucky, and she was one of their leading rebounders. Like she can score the rock. Like she's solid. So we got this super team. Tay, she dropping 40 against people at Charlotte. So we come and we got this super team. We like, yo, might have did something
Right.
unexpectedly. So whenever we got there, first couple games, like we won. No, actually, I lied. Play against UNC, ironically. First game we played, we ain't no team at this point. Like, we individuals. Go out there, sold out arena. Go out there and get blown out by about 40, 50. My coach ain't taking none of us out of the game. I'm like, yo, take us out. Like, we get cooked right now. After that, we still individuals. We leave for Christmas break. After we play against Davidson, we lost. My coach was like, don't come back if you don't want to play. So we came back. When I tell you, seen a different team. We ended up winning the championship. We ended up winning the conference championship. Like, we had like an MVP, defensive player of the year. We had the player of the year. We had 2 first team all tournaments, a couple first team all conference. Like, we literally turned into a different team. The only year out of my entire like years of playing college that I went through an entire season without getting hurt.
Wow.
The only season. And I won a whole bunch of awards. Whole bunch. Played some of my best basketball.
Wow.
And still under 4 ACL surgeries. So like I'm still going crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm also like super relaxed too. So like if I really turned it on, like it's no telling what I would have done. It's crazy.
Wow.
That's the Charlotte story.
That's the Charlotte story.
And then I tore my ACL the next year.
That following year.
Yep, I went to double overtime with App State. Double overtime. The next game, I had 30 that game. The next game, no, we went to Florida. Went to a tournament in Florida, and I went to go close out on somebody, and I went to go jump. Whenever I jumped, she came down and clipped my leg. When she clipped my leg, it felt like somebody put like 10 knives into my leg and just pulling it back out over and over again. Probably the worst pain I ever felt. And at that moment, I was like, I'm done. I can't do it no more.
You knew right then and there.
I knew right then and there.
So was it the same knee, or was it the 5? Was it both knees, or?
So it was 3 and 2, 3 on my left, 2 on my right.
Wow.
And the third one on my left, they took out of my right. So the third one on my left, they took my hamstring out of my right leg. And once they took my hamstring out of my right leg, I tore my right leg. Yep.
Wow. And so, like you said, at that point, you kind of knew, like, right then there, all right.
It was over.
I'm done. I remember when you made that post on Instagram, and I was like, what? Wow. And it was like you made it immediately, because kind of sort of when I handle situations, when I have to endure through something, it takes me a while to kind of talk about it, to kind of, move on to the next thing. And like we've been seeing this whole interview, that maturity level that you have, like you mentioned earlier, that you had to grow up fast and that you had to become this person due to everything that was taking place. I don't know if anybody would have handled what you went through the way that you have. They say that God gives his toughest battles to his toughest soldiers, and that statement seems true oftentimes, especially in this case. You've endured a lot. Facts. And we just commend you, for all the things that you've went through. You're definitely a legend in my eyes. You're a legend in many people's eyes.
Legend.
Yeah, and I pray that you're a legend in your eyes. I don't know anyone that's done it like how you have, and so we commend you for that again. So let us know what you're doing now, because you're doing motivational speaking now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, as well as rapping.
Yep. So I travel to different places and I speak on just like adversity. I speak on, life lesson, life skills and stuff like that. And I think that as I'm doing this, I'm learning a lot about myself too, because I'm starting to realize the actual magnitude of what I went through. Like, I look at it and a lot of people look at it like, oh, she just tore ACL, but they don't see the behind the scenes things that I had to do and I had to, overcome. And I think the biggest thing that I had to overcome was depression. And a lot of people suffer from depression.
Yep.
So as I'm speaking, I'm able to speak and give them relatable stories about the things that I went through. And I never tell people or talk to people about things I haven't been through. So as I'm doing this, like, it's been something that I, had to get used to, because it's hard to tell a story, especially a story that brought you a lot of pain. And I would be lying to you if I didn't say that I missed the game of basketball a lot, because I do. And I think that's like one of my biggest challenges as I'm like going around and speaking and stuff like that is, facing the actual reality that I'll never be able to play the game of basketball again.
Yeah.
And whenever I say that, I mean it, because I can shoot around, but when it comes to actually playing and like running around and having contact with it, like, I can't physically do it, or I won't be able to walk the next day.
Yeah.
So as I'm speaking and stuff like that, I enjoy, telling my journey, but I also love to uplift people, because I know people are, going through similar battles or facing similar problems. Might not be in the realm of basketball, but it might be in the realm of life or something else that they got going on. So whenever I speak, I try to make it, the topic broad, in a sense to, like, I'm talking about basketball, but I'm also talking about life in the same sense. So I speak, I rap, I do a lot of like inspirational rap videos now, and then I also teach. So I teach a PE class down in Davidson, and I enjoy doing that because I enjoy working with kids. Yeah. And I think if I didn't enjoy working with kids, I wouldn't be there. I do it because I want to, and I don't do it because I have to. I do it to give them someone near their age that they can look up to, because there's a lot of people out there nowadays that's just kind of, giving people misinformation about how to navigate through life, or, even when it comes to basketball and stuff like that, they're not giving them the right tools to be able to be successful.
Right.
They're giving them, I guess I use the term like wannabe directions. Like, it's something that, like, just like uncles at the cookout. Uncles at the cookout tell people, what they could have done and all this kind of stuff. They're not actually giving them the recipe, to being successful, not putting their pride aside. So I'm able to do that for the kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think your story is profound, and it's elated. People can grasp to it, because everyone in this life have to endure something and go through something. But your story in particular is so profound. I believe that someone could make a movie, about it. And what's been going through my head is, the movie He Got Game. I don't know if there's a movie called She Got Game. Possibly is, but someone could literally direct a movie script of your life and how your career has gone.
That would be tough.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Sure.
That would be super tough. And I appreciate you for, putting your story out there, telling people, opening up, because that depression, I can relate to it, because I lost basketball. There's other guys.
Basketball. I can relate to
Yep.
it too. A lot of us can.
A lot of us can.
Everybody lost something in life.
Yeah.
Everybody lost something.
Yeah. But you being one of those individuals that didn't give up and chose to tell your story, you motivated me to do this. I'm like, she can go through that and do motivational speaking and telling her story and not feel bitter, not feel depressed, and things of that nature. That's kudos to you. So what would you tell right now any individual, the kids, they don't have to be kids, but it could be adults, a player that's playing right now currently, a person that's going through an ACL injury right now, a person that's going through depression right now? What would you tell them in regards to motivating them to endure through all things?
Yeah, like I always tell people, regardless of cloudy days, it's going to be sunshine one day. So you got to try to see past the darkness and try to find your peace of mind, your peace of happiness, and, just kind of push to it. Whenever I was going through everything I went through, the only thing that kind of kept me motivated was that I would be able to live, to be able to tell a story that inspires everybody. Tell a story that will motivate somebody to want to push through what they've been through. Like, I even have people on Instagram daily, like, just telling me how much of an inspiration I am just by the things that I've been through in life. So don't ever just, give up on yourself, because it's always something out there that, is worth living for. And for me, what's worth living for is being able to inspire.
Wow, that's deep. That's mighty. Wow. Well, let the people know where they can find you, where they can find your music, how they can book you for motivational speaking, how they can book you for a show, a guest appearance, a walkthrough, a podcast, anything.
Oh yeah.
Right? Let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah. Find me on everything, Mikayla_Niel. That's MIKAYLA_NIYEL on everything. So
All praises. All praises. Listen,
nah,
man.
Wait, this is the GOAT.
Hey.
By the way, like this is the GOAT. So we're not gonna let this go by without me telling you how proud I am of you and just everything that you've endured in your lifetime. Like it's definitely a testimony, and the same way I'm getting my story out, you got to get your story out too,
Sure.
because it's special, and you're special.
Yeah.
Like you've done a lot in your lifetime. I've seen you do a lot in your lifetime. So continue to just do all of that knowledge that you have, and all of the motivation that you can to everybody else. And
She trying to
man,
make me cry.
it's here, bro.
Nah,
I'm
it's
proud of you,
definitely
man.
love,
I'm
man.
proud of you.
I appreciate
We came
that,
a long
man.
way.
We did. We came a long way.
way.
Hey, it's more work to be done.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna let me back off of what you just said. Literally, you inspired this setting. This podcast, Endure All Things. You're the first guest appearance.
Man,
And
honored.
that wasn't by coincidence. I was like, we're gonna do Mikayla Boykin. What better person to be able to come on and bless the podcast, to bless these individuals, with words of inspiration. So you're definitely a light. Keep being a beacon, keep shining, keep being who you are. And yeah, we'll see you again. We'll see you at the top.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you. All the way at the top.
Yeah,
Love, man.
For sure.
Love.
For sure.
Kayla, the legend.
The legend.
Nah, that's y'all.
The legend.
That's y'all.
All right, guys. So this is gonna wrap up the first episode, the podcast, Endure All Things. Until next time, we out. Again, this is my brother to my right, Cheddar Bob. Let them know where they can find you at, champ.
Know that Cheddar Bob. Matter of fact, it's just Cheddar _10. Everything, everywhere.
Okay, one more time for you, Mikayla.
Mikayla_Niel. Lock it.
Yeah, and you can find this podcast at Endure All Things on YouTube and Instagram. Endure All Things on YouTube and Instagram. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.